Hello students, myself Amrita Dhar, Assistant Professor of Electrical Engineering Department of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management, JIS Group. I will teach you Power System 3.
In this video, I will discuss about voltage collapse and load compensation. These topics are included in Module 4, Compensation in Power System of the subject Power System 3. Course code is EE-703A. Now, to make you understand about this topic over PowerPoint presentation is quite difficult. So, I will do board work to make you understand better. So, let's start. In the previous video, I have derived the expression for voltage regulation and its relationship with reactive power. In this video, first we solve a numerical problem of this topic. Okay, so the problem is an inductive load draws of power 2 plus J1 MVA at a receiving end was of a radial three-phase line. The receiving end voltage is 11 kV line to line at 50 Hz and the system reactance is 0.5 ohm per phase. Calculate the receiving end current, the regulation, the sending end voltage and the short circuit capacity of the system. Assume the system to be lossless. So, load current IL can be obtained by IL is equals to root over P square plus Q square by root 3 into VL, which is equals to root over 2 square plus 1 square into 10 to the power 6 by root 3, what is line volt, that is 11 kV line to line voltage into 10 cube. So we have to convert the power in VA and the voltage in volts. So this equals to 117.363132 ampere. Okay, now phi is equals to tan inverse Q by P, tan inverse half, which is equals to 26.565051 degree. Now IL is equals to IL phi 117.363132 minus 26.565051 degree ampere. So this is the answer of question 1. Okay, next, delta V is equal to, we know this formula, x q by V plus J xp. Now this is equal to 0.5 into 1 into 10 to the power 6 by 3 by 11 into 10 cube by root 3 plus J 0.5 into 2 into 10 to the power 6 by 3 by 11 into 10 cube by root 3. Now this is equals to 26.243194 plus J 52.486388 volt, and this is equals to 58.681566 63.434950 degree volt. This is answer of question 2. Now the sending end voltage is obtained by the sending end voltage is obtained as E is equals to V plus delta V equals to 11 into 10 cube by root 3 plus 26.243194 plus j 52.486388, which is equals to 6377.312145, 0.471560 degree voltage per phase, equals to line voltage, the line voltage of the of sending end is root 3 into E, which is equal to 11045.82865 volt or 11.46 kV. The short circuit capacity can equals to E phase square by system reactance, which is equals to E square by 0.5, 81.340 220 MVA per phase. Now this is answer of question 3 and this is the answer of question 4. Okay. Next, we discussed about reactive power and voltage collapse. Reactive power and voltage collapse. Now, voltage collapse typically occurs in power systems which are usually heavily loaded, faulted and or have reactive power shortage. Voltage collapse is a system instability and it involves many power system components and their variables at once. Indeed, voltage collapse often involves the entire power system, although it is usually has a relatively larger involvement in one particular section of the power system. Though a number of variables are typically involved, some physical understanding into the nature of voltage collapse may be gained by examining the generation, transmission and consumption, including surplus and deficit of reactive power. The limitation of the production of power include the generator and reactive power compensator limits and reduced capacitive reactive power by the line and is fixed capacitors due to low voltage. The primary limitation on the transmission line of power are high reactive losses on heavily loaded long transmission lines. There may be also outages and reduced transmission capacity. Reactive power demands of load increases with the load increase and motor stalling or changes in load composition when the inductive part of the load current increases. The voltage collapse can occur in a transient time scale or in a long-term time scale. Voltage collapse in the large time scale can include effects from the transient time scale. For example, a slow voltage collapse taking several minutes may end in a fast voltage collapse in the transient scale. So, changes in power system contributing to voltage collapse. Changes in power system contributing to voltage collapse are increase in inductive loading, reactive power limits. Second, reactive power limits attained by reactive power compensators and generators OLTC operation generator outage recovery dynamics and line tripping. Now most of these factors have significant effects on reactive power production, transmission and consumption. Switching of shunt capacitance, blocking of OLTC operation, generation rescheduling, bus voltage control, strategic load shedding and allowing temporary reactive power overloading of generators may be used as some of the effective countermeasures against the voltage collapse. Next, I discussed about load compensation. Load compensation. Now, with the ongoing expansion and growth of the electric utility industry, including deregulation in many countries, numerous changes are continuously being introduced to once a predictable business. Although electricity is a highly engineered product and it's increasingly being considered and handled as a commodity. Thus, transmission systems are being pushed closer to their stability and thermal limits, while the focus on the quality of power delivered is greater than ever. In the evolving utility environment, financial and market forces continue and will continue to demand a more optimal and profitable operation of the power system with respect to generation, transmission and distribution. Now more than ever, advanced technologies are paramount for reliable and secure operation of power system. To achieve both operational reliability and financial profitability, it has become clear that more efficient utilization and control of the existing transmission system infrastructure is required. The chief objective of the power system operation being supply of electric power from source end to load end. Source end to load end stably and economically. The system should be stable and the system should be economical. Now, it is imperatively that the frequency and voltage at any point of the load frequency and voltage at any point of the network remains constant, and the voltage waveform at any bus are free from harmonics. Voltage waveforms are free from harmonics, and the three phases are balanced. Three phases are balanced. It is preferred in practice that the power factor is either unity or it is close to unity, unity. The maintenance of constant frequency in a power system needs an exact balance between the generated power suppose Pg, and the load demand plus load loss. Okay. Also the voltage plays an important role in maintaining the stable operation of the power system. Now, as in the previous video we have studied that the voltage is depend on the reactive power of the system. So in order to achieve the optimum performances of the power system, it is required to control the reactive power in the network, and this is only possible by applying the reactive power management at different loads. Reactive power management at different nodes. However, for reactive power management, the focus may be either toward the performance of load or the line performance. Okay. Now, traditionally, the solution for upgrading the electrical transmission system infrastructure have been primarily in the form of new transmission lines, substation and associated equipment. However, as experience have proven over the past decade and more, the process to permit the site and construct new transmission lines have become extremely difficult, expensive, time consuming and controversial. The reactive power management of load to achieve the optimum performance is sometimes more preferred. So what is load compensation? The reactive power management of load to achieve optimum performance of power system is known as load compensation. Now, next, objective of load compensation. Objective of load Now, the management of reactive power at the load bus for optimum performance of power system, loads being the prime objective of the load compensation. And we can subdivide the scope of load compensation into three components. First, power factor correction. Second, improving voltage regulation. Third, balancing of load. Balancing of what is power factor correction? Most of the real life load operate in lagging power factor, that is they absorb reactive powers. Since the reactive power generation sources are limited, there is a deficit of reactive power when the power system is heavily loaded, and this leads to voltage depression at the load bus, resulting in higher current intake by constant power loads. Now, load power factor being low, the power system efficiency decreases and the control of voltage throughout the network become more difficult. Supply companies penalize the power factor load of industrial customer. You have studied this tariff, that is power factor tariff. Now all these factors encourage use power factor correcting equipment, and these pieces of equipment are basically reactive power compensation device and are usually installed at the load bus. Next is the improving voltage regulation. Now typically plus minus 5% voltage regulation is allowed in the power utilities. Due to heavy loading condition, the system voltage remain depressed frequently and that affects power system performance. The most ideal way to improve load bus voltage and thereby reducing the voltage regulation within limit is to increase the size and number of generating units as well as by increasing the interconnection. However, this method has got inherent limitation as it is costly and increases the fault level. On the other hand, it is better and economical to opt for reactive power management and load bus to apply compensation. Next is the balancing load. Now AC system are usually 3-phase and are most efficient for the operation with the balanced load. Unbalanced system operation give rise to components of current in negative or zero phase sequence components. Such components have the effect of additional losses in the lines and rotating machines, higher ripple in the rectifier, higher neutral current, higher tripling harmonics and generation of oscillating torque in rotating machinery and measuring instruments. Now electric furnace, hoist, particular types of power electronic device, etc. are all the loads that are create severe unbalancing. Compensator should be designed accordingly so that they have dynamic capability to compensate for these unbalances. Now thyristor controlled compensator are used in the distribution side to compensate for this load unbalancing. Now we will discuss in details about this power factor correction, improving voltage regulation and balancing of load in my upcoming videos.
That's all from today's class. If you have any problem, please contact with me. My contact details is given on the first slide. Thank you.